everybody. It's Kelly Russell, the Rock Your Joy Coach. Thanks for joining me today. Welcome to my channel. So my topic for today is from chapter 12 of A Course in Miracles, the Holy Spirit's curriculum, the judgment of the Holy Spirit, which, believe it or not, is different from the judgment of the world and the ego and you and me. I know, shock, right? And so I want to talk about what the hell the Course in Miracles is referring to when it says that everything that anyone is ever doing is either an expression of love or a call for love. So expressions of love, yeah, we got no issue with that, right? We know what an expression of love looks like. If somebody says something loving, they have a loving tone in their voice, their facial expressions, their body language, it all conveys something loving. They're saying something nice about you, they're expressing gratitude for you, they're telling you how wonderful you are and how amazing, and obviously it sounds like love, right? I think where the wheels kind of, come off the bus is where Jesus is talking about when it doesn't feel like love, when it feels more like attack or hate or disrespect, or it's hurtful, or it feels like somebody punched you in the face, or maybe they actually did, or it feels abusive, or whatever those negative responses that call forth, where we just want to say, what an a-hole, what a jerk. This person is obviously, it's not love. And obviously, I need to set them straight. And I need to teach them that they can't treat me like that. And I need them to learn that I'm not a doormat. And they have to learn their lesson. And I'm the self-appointed one to teach them. And no, you're not. No, they don't. None of that is true. So what A Course in Miracles tells us, that is the call for help or the call for love. When somebody's acting in a way so that you just want to strangle them, that is what is the Course in Miracles is talking about. That's your cue. That's the call for help or the call for love. Course in Miracles says that in any situation in which we ever find ourselves, the only response that is ever appropriate, no exceptions, is love. Love is the response, always. And so, obviously, if somebody acts like they're expressing love to you, then love is a pretty easy go-to as a response. But if somebody is acting in one of the ways that I just talked about, seeing them as calling for love, like, what? Come on, they're obviously not calling for love. It's like they're calling for hate. Well, you know what? The reason for that is because, first of all, remember, everything that everyone is doing in the world of form, if you're in A Course in Miracles student, is a reflection of what is in your own mind. So that's really important to remember, is that however anyone is acting, it's a reflection of what you have in your mind. The unconscious part of your mind, and you are unconsciously projecting it onto the world. And then you're seeing it as if it is coming from someone else, but it isn't. It's coming from you. And so it's a good thing to know that, and it's hard to remember that in the moment when it's seemingly coming through someone else, and it looks like disrespect, it looks like anger, it looks like hurtfulness, it looks like a lot of things, and it doesn't look like it's you. It's like, no, it's not me, it's them. So how do we do that? How do we help ourselves to see when someone is expressing whatever it is? It's really fear in all its different forms, but of course in Miracles names it as a call for love. Well, first of all, remembering that we are not separate from that person, that is coming from my own mind, what they are appearing as a separate individual to be doing to me is really coming from my own mind, coming from my unconscious guilt over my belief that I am separate from my creator, I'm separate from all of my brothers, I'm separate from everyone. And so I see them as separate from myself, and I am, it's someone that I can project my unconscious guilt onto, and then I won't have it anymore, and so I will feel better, except that I don't feel better because I'm not separate from them. And so really I'm just projecting onto myself. And that's why the Course in Miracles says attack is so harmful, because we're not attacking a brother, we're attacking ourselves. And so we can't, there's no circumstance in which we can attack ourselves and then not feel guilty. And if we feel guilty, then we're going to feel the need to punish ourselves. This is all an unconscious process. If it was conscious, it would be a lot easier to see and deal with and address, but it isn't. It's an unconscious process. And so when one of the things that I think can be really helpful in identifying when someone else is calling for help and calling for love, identifying it is actually pretty easy. It's anything that doesn't look like an expression of love. That is how you know that it's a call for love or a call for help. But for me, a way that I have found that makes it easier for me to actually see the person as calling for love and to be able to treat it that way is to see them like they're a baby. And I don't mean, to see them as like that it's okay to treat someone like a child, or like you're acting like a child, so I'm going to treat you one. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But it's more like when we see babies, we see an innocence there. A baby could be screaming its head off. It could be having a tantrum. It could just be, red in the face and yelling at the top of its lungs and whatever. And we're not going to see it as, I can't believe you're disrespecting me like that. I can't believe that you're acting like such an a-hole. I can't believe you're being such a jerk. Like, what's the matter with you? Like, don't think you can treat me like that. I'm not your doormat. We're never going to say that to a baby, right? It's like, it's a baby, for God's sake. This is what babies do. Like, they can't communicate it any other way. Maybe they're tired, or they're hungry, or they're poopy, or they don't know what's wrong, or they have a tummy ache, and they're just so upset. And what is our response? If it's a baby, we're like, oh, shh. Oh, it's okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. That's terrible, isn't it? Oh, you're so upset. Oh, and we want to just rock the baby and hold it and reassure it and comfort it. And, okay, that is what we need to do with our brothers when they are calling for love. We, in our minds, obviously you don't say it like that when somebody's calling for love. If they're straight up pissed off and expressing it to you, it's just going to sound like ridiculing them, of course, and baiting them. And that is not what I'm talking about, but it is seeing them in your mind in their innocence. That's what we see when we see babies. And I mean, somebody could be acting exactly like a baby does, and yet because they are wearing the face of an adult human, we just give them all kinds of attributes, like, they should know better, and whereas babies can't help it, and they should have control of themselves, whereas babies haven't learned that yet, and they should have their brain development intact, whereas babies don't have that yet. So we give all kinds of passes to babies that we don't give to our adult brothers. And yet I will tell you that when we are in the throes of our central nervous system being all jacked up, which is what happens to the body when we are in that place in the mind, the place of fear, it gets translated into the body as this fight or flight response in the central nervous system. And then we aren't really in our adult, functioning brain where we can actually be capable of reason. We're right back in the ancient part of our brains, which is really where babies are when they are trying to convey the needs that they have and how they are expressing them. And so being able to see that innocence in our brothers when we see them as calling for help or calling for love, and just being able to see them as maybe we picture them as they once were, if we knew them as babies, or maybe we can just see them as they can't express it any other way, and that we don't have to take it personally. You don't take it personally when it's a baby. The baby's just being a baby. And this person in front of me right now, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, but they are they're coming from their baby self. They're coming from their innocence, but they're coming from a place of, I am trying to communicate that I need love. That's what I need right now. I just need you to love me. And I know it's not being expressed in the way that is necessarily inviting love. Obviously, when a baby's like all cooing and laughing and being all adorable, and that's a big call for love too. And when they're screaming and tantruming and they're inconsolable, it can feel like a different kind of a call for love, but still we are drawn to wanting to provide comfort and to try to be helpful. And that's really what I'm talking about, is that when a brother is calling for love in that way that they are, whatever it looks like, we are here really only to be truly helpful, as A Course in Miracles says in that beautiful prayer on page 28. And the way of being helpful to a brother when they are calling for love and calling for help is by responding not in anger, not in attack, not in, you can't talk to me like that, and what's the matter with you, and why do you think you can disrespect me, or whatever it is in your mind seeing them as the creation of God, as your brother, as an extension of spirit, as perfect, as holy, and forgiving them in your mind, and forgiving whatever it appears like they are doing or saying. And again, as A Course in Miracles teaches us about forgiveness, you're not forgiving the person for what they're doing. You're forgiving yourself for buying into the illusion of the dream in which this person is separate from you. And the truth is that they're not. And so as you're forgiving them, you're really forgiving yourself. And you're seeing the two of you as not separate. And you're able to see the innocence in them. And when you're able to see the innocence in them, then you're able to see the innocence in yourself as well. So next time somebody is acting like a straight up idiot, try seeing them as a baby. Try seeing their innocence. And try seeing it as a call for love, a call for help, and see if that doesn't soften you. So thank you so much for being with me today. If you have liked what you've heard, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm here every week. And if you'd like to experience more teaching of the Course in Miracles, please click the link below and read the rest of the vlog. And if you're having issues with where it seems like a lot of people in your life are calling for help and calling for love, and you might have ever considered coaching, that's something that I offer as well. And so feel free to sign up for a free discovery call and see if coaching might be something that you want to explore. So I will see you next week. I love you. Mwah.